Hi friends, welcome to Stamping with Wow. So I've created a series from the first video of me creating all my kits to now this is I guess in a series this would be episode 1. I don't know how you'd word all that. Anyways, I wanted to show you this scrapbook page. We're going to be making this in a moment. I know, like I'm going in reverse because I'm showing you the finished page. I think it came out really cute. So in the kit, this was the last page I kitted, and it was easy to make from there. So I had a really fun time, and now let's watch the video. So I have two cute pictures. So obviously it's going to be a one-page layout. And I have these cute 2 stamp sets. This one's free with the paper for Sale-a-bration, which I'm offering to extend through March. I have 2 of these complete sets. So if you're interested, you'd need to place a $100 order in March. And as long as I still have them available, you can be yours. This stamp set is Sweet Strawberry. This is also in our spring catalog. Let me find that spring catalog again. And I will show you how cute it is. There it is, page 44. So here's the Sweet Strawberry. One cute thing you can do with this is you can make the strawberries dimensional. So now they stamped it on, I'm not sure what color that is exactly, but Melon Mambo? I don't know. So they stamped it on a cardstock. When I did it, I stamped it on the Basic White, and there's 2 stamps to color it. These 2 stamps, this one would add the color, this one adds the dimension of it. So I stamped them on Basic White and colored them. Now and I created a card with this. Let me see if I have the card handy. I do not have the card handy, but here's a cute little strawberry box someone else created. I just followed someone else's instructions. Isn't that cute? It's a little treat holder. So this is a stamp set. You could get the bundle is $32.25 for the builder punch and the stamp set. So if you were trying to get up to the $100 for the Sale-a-bration qualification, you'd need to order a few more things, but they are really cute. All right, so we're gonna move on to creating my layout. Okay, so I'm going to decide on my layout right now. I have decided on using the strawberries of all the berries. And I'm going to start with this old olive piece of cardstock in the background. But I am going to change it later on to Granny Green because it goes with another piece of paper I'm going to add to this. And as you see, there's that Blushing Bride foil piece, and that comes from the Love You Always Specialty Design Series paper, and I'm going to use a strip of that because those lighter color or unripe strawberries on the papers, that toning as a Blushing Bride, and so I thought that picture would be really cute. And then I'm also using a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock to back my photos. So I'm still trying to decide if I've picked the right color, which at this point I'm pretty happy with my color choice. I just know later on it's going to change again because the old olive doesn't tie into this other piece of designer series paper I'm going to add. So now I'm going to adhere my photos to the Blushing Bride cardstock, and I'm going to trim those down and get those mounted. So I noticed that the picture of my son is a little higher than the picture of my daughter. And I think I'm going to trim him down because I want them to be the same size. There's a little water bottle in the background at the top of his head that I wanted to minimize anyway. So I was glad I was able to trim that photo down. the way they're going to lay out, it wouldn't have mattered, but I guess it was bothering me right now when I'm going to cut my cardstock. And I'm just lining it up, kind of eyeballing it for spacing. And I was too close to the gutter in the cutting trimmer gut, so it caused a little rough edging, so I trimmed that. So I know I want my photos to be a little wonky, you know, offset, not straight up and down. And I know I want, I'm pretty sure I want my son's picture below my daughter's picture. So I'm looking at the different papers I have to play with, because that's the layout I'm going to use. I really like that layout. So I'm going to trim this paper down to about a 6" width. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring another piece to the other end of it. Actually, I think I'm trimming this down to a 6x6. So I'm just setting up my workspace so when I cut, because I'm going to basically cut as I go, it's all right here. So I liked on this layout I'm showing you here that the same paper that's going to be right there, that strawberry paper, a portion of it is also going to go to the other end. And so this is going to be a 6" square, and then it looks like maybe a 2", 2.5" piece of paper is going on the opposite side. And when I adhere that, I'll use a straight edge ruler to make sure that that is straight across. So I'm just seeing how the photos will fit, if there's enough paper for the photos to fit in that space. I'm going to add some more paper on that right side. Yeah, like those large strawberries right there, just to bump it up, to beef it up off more into, I don't want the photos in the center, but I didn't want them as far to the right as they were. So I'm looking at other color choices because I know I want some more pattern in here. That's when I'm going to add this Blushing Bride piece of foil paper. I think it's really pretty, and it goes really nicely with the fact that I used Blushing Bride as the backer paper for the photos. And I'm going to cut about, I think, a 1.5 inch. I seem to gravitate to a 1.5 inch spacing. That's 2 seems too much and 1 seems like it's not enough, so typically I go with a 1.5 inch. And I really like how that paper gives a little sheen, you know, with the foiling, and it goes really well with those strawberries. So see those 2 strawberries on that long border paper? I want to make sure that those stay there because I don't want to hide them with my with my Blushing Bride foil paper. So I'm looking for some more patterns, because you can see in the page layout idea. So this is when I've had to change the color. So my background color is now Granny Green because it goes better with this green plaid paper. And this green plaid paper is going to be what I make my little banners on the side with. So I'm going to show you, I think 2 of those pieces are going to get glued together. And then one of them is going to be used for banners. So it's going to be a 3rd layer on my right side. And then on this left side, there's these little banners. So I just cut that 2 inches. And I think it's about 1 1/4. So I'm just splitting the difference between the trimmer lines. And I go up 1/2 inch. And then I take my scissors and I cut from corner to that cut in point. And that's how I create my little banners. And I'm just putting them like that because that's how the sample is. And then those 2 pieces that I cut, here I'm testing if a 1-on-1. So that's why I cut the 2 pieces, was for that banner right there. to be on top of that Blushing Bride. And then I'm going to use the leftover scraps of it to do those banners on the left side. So I really like how that's breaking up the paper. That green plaid really was a good choice. I'm glad I had a very small scrap of it left. So this foil paper, I want it smaller. And then I'm going to banner the bottom end of one of that green plaid paper. So I'm going to keep like a 1/4 inch of that strawberry paper, like a 1/4 inch from the end of the granny apple. And I want to butt this little strawberry paper right up to the big strawberry paper. And this is why I brought out the T-square. I want to make sure it's on the 3 inch and the 9 inch. So I wanted to make sure I have 3 inches on top and 3 inches on the bottom. And then I'm going to use this T-square ruler to make sure that this piece right here lines up directly across from that other small strawberry piece. So they look like they were kind of connecting, but not. Does that make sense? And on that Blushing Bride foil paper, I want to make sure my green plaid paper is taller and it's centered with that Blushing Bride paper. So that Blushing Bride paper is going to lay on top of the plaid paper. And then I'm going to banner it. So that bottom piece is going to get a banner, a fishtail on the bottom. So I'm trimming it down because it's a little too long, and now I'm aligning it and I'm off on that alignment, so I need to do it again. So again, I'm just splitting it between the two sides, and then I'm just going up 1/2 inch, and that gives me a pretty nice even fishtail. And I'm just going to glue that to the bottom of that already existing piece, like so. And then this piece of Specialty Designer Series Blushing Bride foil paper, that's going to cover up. It's just going to go on both pieces, the large strawberries and this green plaid, right, just like so. And now I'm just verifying. I don't want to cover up all that green plaid paper because I wanted that fishtail to show. So you see I'm pushing my pictures over. I think the picture colors are coming out really nice. The photos definitely look like they belong on this page versus not. And I'm just going to go ahead and mount. That way I don't keep wasting time realigning everything. Overall, this page is coming together quickly. Where this is going to start taking up some time is in the embellishing. So this is a piece of a foam sheet that Stampin' Up sells. It's for using with die cuts. It's a solid foam sheet, but for this photo, since I'm trying to use all Stampin' Up products, I decided to cut that up into larger tabs in our dimensional stickers. So it could cover a whole photo because I wanted to bump this photo up. And I'm just testing, make sure I got all the paper backings off right now. So my daughter's photo actually sits up a little higher than my son's photo. And now I decided that so we're going to do the three points of a triangle is how you want to place embellishments on. I guess it's the most pleasing to the eye. It draws the eye to the 3 points. So I'm going to do that using this strawberry leaf branch, basically. I really like this branch. It's pretty. I've seen, I did it on cards. And so I pulled quite a few colors. So that's Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight is the yellow. The pink is Flirty Flamingo, and the green is Granny Apple Green. And I'm using the lighter Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to go in and color all these leaves. And then if I wanted to, I would take the darker Granny Apple Green and go over all those lines or veins of the leaves, which I don't end up doing that, but at this point my intention was to do that. So I just speeded up the camera so that this process goes faster. I end up only fussy cutting out 3 of these flowers. And then the little flowers on the strawberry stems, I'm going to color the centers in. Right now I'm using the dark Daffodil Delight, and then I'm going to come and color a larger center area in the light Daffodil Delight to blend out that the harshness of the centerpiece. And then I'm going to do the tips in that Flirty Flamingo because I'm trying to recreate that Blushing Bride. I'm using light Flirty Flamingo. So I'm trying to create that Blushing Bride strawberry look. So see that one flower in the top left corner where it's pink, it's like Blushing Bride in yellow. So that's what I'm recreating for these flowers right here. So I really, because I'm trying to still pull in that Blushing Bride matchiness of this layout, because Blushing Bride is the theme color, obviously. And I think these branches really come out nicely with this look. And then I'm going to take the light Daffodil Delight again, and I'm going to try to blend it all together, going from the Flirty Flamingo to the yellow in that. So, and it does blend nicely. These do come out really nice. And then it's time for the fussy cutting. So first thing I like to do is narrow down the piece of paper as much as possible. So I'm going to cut them into 4 sections. And then I'm just going to start cutting. And the trick to fussy cutting is you want to move the paper more than you're moving your scissors, because you want your scissor blade to stay really smooth so you don't get a lot of jagged edges in a fussy cut. And then what I like to do is I like to go in and get the bigger pieces out and then go back in for the more difficult angles to get it closer in. So you'll see some areas I leave quite a bit of white in my first run in the cut. And then what I'll do is I'm going to come back in on the areas where it's a little more white and even it all out. Because while you're fussy cutting, the level of, or the width of white you leave as a border kind of changes throughout your cut. So I like to just go in and try to even that up after I get the majority of the paper out. It just makes it easier for some of the angles. So see, like that piece that's kind of in there, and you have to cut between they're close together, the flower and the leaf, and so I had to cut through that. So that paper is better when I was cutting the majority of it to stay fuller, so it stays like stronger while I'm holding it. And now I'm just finessing all my little cuts. And then when I place it on my paper, like when I get ready to lay it down on my layout, I'll notice if there's more white peeking through somewhere, if I need to trim it some more even. So less is more, but I try not to over trim. Like you don't really, I guess you could trim up to the black lines of the stamping, but then you're going to have a real skinny kind of, and there's some areas you're not going to get all the white out, so it's better to leave some white on it. And then my intentions is going to be to use mini dimensionals to pop up the flowers and the leaves, but not the whole thing. I want the stems to glue down, so I want to create like a gradiating. So now I'm using the Strawberry Builder punch, and what I'm doing is that first punch was so I could create a template. So I'm going to trim out this first piece that I just punched so that I can get a nice template. So I'm paying attention to how the paper feeds into the punch. So that's why I turned my paper around. I don't know if it mattered or not. It would have all ended up getting cut out, right? So, but I'm going to mark where's the top so I know how to stamp for feeding it into this builder punch. So now this helps me place my stamping in the right spot so that when I punch it, all 4 items will punch in the right spots. That's the only trick to a builder punch is they're convenient and handy, but it's like all 4 items have to punch, or not all 4 have to, but you know, they're gonna punch at the same time, so you need to have your stamped images in the right position. So I just have one of these templates. I don't keep it permanently. It's just going to be used for today, and then next time I'm using that builder punch, if I'm using all the components, again, I would do that. So now what I'm doing is that 2-layer effect of the strawberries. So I use the Blushing Bride stamp set for the base color, and then I went in with Poppy Parade, but you can see I didn't stamp it well, and now I have that double image, so I'm going to end up flipping that over. That's not the stamped image I'm going to use, but I decided I want to try the dauber, and I think I'm going to end up changing this stamp color because it's just not coming out as pinky as I wanted. So here I'm going into Petal Pink. I think that's correct. Oh no, I've been saying Blushing Bride, and I think the color I was using is Petal Pink, and now I'm going in with Blushing Bride. So I'm using this sponge dauber so that the inked color is less, I want it to mirror those lighter colored strawberries, and that's the Poppy Parade red that I have, and so I think I'm getting a nicer image with the sponge dauber. And then I'm going to come in with some Poppy Parade on another sponge dauber, and where the seeds are really abundant, I'm going to just line or rub the dauber for Poppy Parade in there to make it look a little more ripe right there. See how that's texturing in there? It's kind of adding some more color to it. And then I'm going to add some more Blushing Bride. No, that's Petal Pink, I believe. I don't know. I'm mixing up my colors now. I have no idea. I think the color I used on that foil paper. No, that did say Blushing Bride. I was right. We were using Blushing Bride. But I am using Petal Pink right now to bring into that rubber stamping. This is Rococo Rose. Oh. Did I go with a different color to try? I think I did. So now I have the little stamps done, or the little strawberries are done. I am going to come back and stamp the leaves. I'm using Granny Apple Green for the stem and the leaf. And these stamps are that photo distinctive. And so what that means is when you stamp the image, it gets the variation of color in it. So it's not me with how I'm pressing it in the ink pad, it is the type of stamp it is. So it's really a neat stamp as far as getting gradations of color. And now I'm going to use the same ink, Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to create the veining. So see, like I did nothing special to create that 2-layer stamp, but it created its own dimension. How the stamp's been created creates that dimension. It's not the user that does it. So it's kind of a neat technique that they've come out with on these stamps. So this is the strawberry stem, and again, this is just the background of the strawberry stem. There's another stamp that does the detail of the stem. So this is when the template comes really handy because, you know, like I'm getting these 4 images put in place without me trying that hard. I'm just using those, that little template I punched out real quick. So it is a time saver because I'm going to get 4 So I'm going to punch out 12 images really, and they're all going to line up pretty nicely. So I still need to come in and do the flower, but I think I decided I was going to wait and let the flower punch and then do the detail on the flower. It was just going to be easier, or seemed easier to me like that. So here I'm just lining up my pieces, and there, boom, I just got 4 images, and now I'm going to get 4 more. So I kind of like how quick this is, simplicity wise. And then those 4 little flowers that are coming out, I'm going to stamp them already punched. Oh, and there I'm using up some more scrap pieces and punching out some more shapes. I did an extra flower, there's an extra leaf. I think I'm getting another extra flower. Oh no, that was a leaf. So I just wanted a few more. There's nothing left on that paper. Oh, I got 2 half flowers, so I was going to use those too. It's kind of funny. But it worked. It all worked. So I'm getting rid of all my scrappy bits, but those 2 half flowers are staying. And then the original images I punched to create my template. So now I'm just looking for all my already stamped pieces so I don't overwork myself. So now I'm just going to finish up these added leaves. I'm not going to do that 4th strawberry, but I am going to do all 6 of those flowers and those 3 leaves. So there I've pulled out the 2 shades of Flirty Flamingo. Daffodil Delight. So I'm using the dark daffodil. So now I'm going to use that light Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to come in and blend these 2 colors together using the light Daffodil Delight in the center of these. And I think it's going to pull off really nicely, because that alcohol marker, that's how it's supposed to work. I want the tips to stay that Flirty Flamingo and the yellow to be in the center. And then there's a detail flower that you can stamp on top of it, and it just, look at that, it just brings these flowers, just gives them that extra oomph. So that one I kind of missed. So one of these that I kind of messed up like that, the alcohol marker, what came through on the back side was really nice, so I was able to use it. This one I didn't care for, so I ended up using the bolder side. And then I'm just going to come in and do these leaves again in Granny Apple Green. Just taking a moment to clean up all my bits again. There we go. So that's the solid image. Just getting a little bit of ink on there. And then we're going to come in and get the veining in there from the, there we go, that's the veining. And then I'm going to glue the strawberry tops to the strawberries. We're going to clean up all this good stuff right here so that we can get to the end of the project. So now we're on the downhill, definitely. This has been a fun page. I really had a lot of fun. If you knew, this video originally was, I think, 2 hours long. But I had the kitting that I did in a previous video. I had that on the front end of this, so that was about 30 minutes. So this layout took me about an hour and a half, and it's more because I like to stare at things and really think about, what I'm doing. So what I was able to condense down to, what was this, about a 30-minute video or a 35-minute video? It was a lot longer. But that's my style of scrapbooking. I don't mind it taking me a long time. I'm not in a hurry. I really like to make each page, you know, better than the last page kind of thing. Sometimes if I don't like a picture or an event, then I do rush through it. So I really like those large strawberry, that little, I don't even know if it's an inch wide. It might be 3/4 of an inch. But I just liked it on the left side there. So it had to go. It just had to be there. So now I'm putting my banners together, the little flags. And I'm going to cut them down because they're a little too long. They actually connect to the other piece of paper. And I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to end up using 5 of those banners. 3 are going to be in that plaid green and 2 are going to be in that little strawberry pattern. So I'm adding the mini dimensionals. So I'm putting 1 mini dimensional on each flower and then 1 or 2 on each of those leaves in the strawberry stems. I want the base of the branch of the stem to adhere to the surface paper, so it's a graduating dimension. So I'm using about 5 or 6 of these mini dimensionals on each branch, and there's 3 branches, so, but I think it gives a new dimension to how the branches are. This one gives me a little trouble because I just can't seem to get that branch tucked between the 2 photos. So I don't know if I already did it. I end up cutting off that branch. Maybe I just did that. And so I'm really happy with how these guys are coming out. I'm surprised. I really love how this whole page comes out. It just has a lot to it to me, and I'm really happy with it. One thing I could have done is added some splatters to the actual granny apple green. I think that would have brought out a lot. Maybe I could have used white. I'm not sure, because I'm looking at the end result, and the granny apple green background paper is just a solid flat paper, so I have so much going on, but maybe your eyes need to rest on it. It's done. I'm happy, you know, looking back at it now. I enjoyed the journey of it. I enjoy scrapbooking. So I'm just adhering down all the bits, and then after I get all these strawberries down and all this other goodies, I still have to come in with some embellishments, and I'm still going to use the 2 berry and the strawberry stamp sets. So I'm just trying to create my 3 clusters. I guess I have 4 clusters actually, but I kind of consider the one on the left side all one cluster. So that's like my big cluster. I guess I don't really have a giant title on these. On this strawberry page. I thought about die cutting out Torin's name, but I didn't. I just thought that's just so expected. But I really like how these strawberry branches decorated up. You know, I thought I was pretty impressed with myself, actually. Not to toot my own horn, but going from just paper to creating a whole complete scrapbook page, it takes a lot. But I'm also really impressed with how well the stamp sets have lent themselves to really creating all the embellishments you need on a scrapbook page. It does take a little more time because you're stamping and coloring, or you know, creating it all, but I think it just puts that much more in it for you, you know, like you're that much more invested in it. And then on these separate strawberry leaves, I end up putting 1 dimensional on the tip of each leaf and gluing the stem of the leaf down. So again, I'm creating that graduating leaf. So it goes from being flat to raised. Just creating as much dimension or pop as I can. There was a lot to this page, a lot of detail work in this page, but I think the page came out really cute. And it's a cute page for a baby picture, you know. Eventually we'll get to the sentiments. And what's nice is the sweet is it sweet blessings? No, sweet berries. Oh, I don't see the stamp set here. So the strawberry stamp set and this Celebration stamp set, the fonts are the same in their sentiments. So it's really easy to find. I'm cutting these down, like taking like 3/4 an inch to 3/4 of an inch off because they were just really way too big. So they needed to fit in a small parameter, because I think that distance between the two pieces of designer series paper is probably 1.5 inches or so. And then I'm just taking and putting in that fishtail again. These I'm just staring at it and eyeballing where the fishtail goes. This so I just look at it. That one it was a little wider than I'm used to for eyeballing. I didn't want to pull out the trimmer again, so I just gave it a little crease so I could see where the halfway mark was. So there I just eyeball it and do the half. I might be off, but it'd be minute enough that you might notice it, but it was to the point where I just wanted to get to the end project, because I'd already felt like this video was really long and I was starting to worry about how I was going to get it to be a reasonable size for someone to watch, because most people, I would think, don't want to watch something more than 30 minutes max kind of thing. So I try to keep these videos very not short but as short as possible, I guess would be the right way to say it. So I'm trying to figure out where I want all these goodies to hang out, and so I'm gonna keep them close enough together so that last plaid piece can lay on top. And I'm really happy with how those banner pieces came out, and then what I end up doing with the embellishments really finish off this page nicely. Not embellishments, I'm sorry, I meant the sentiments. So I think I'm going to show you both stamp sets and the sentiments in a moment. I think I must be cleaning up right now, getting ready to, oh yeah, finding more paper. So this, I'm going to use one of the banner punches, and the banner punches are really nice. They can do 3 sizes, so they can go as small as a 1/2 inch, and they can go up to as large as an inch. So I like to use those. Here I'm putting in that hello there, and I'm going to get that nice little scalloped inch. I do it on the reverse side so I can make sure I'm not punching off too much paper, and it's not going to get into the printed inked piece. So I'm looking at that hello there, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other end. I don't want to trim that hello there yet. So I'm going to stamp another sentiment on that other end I just punched. And there's one called Bountiful Blessings. That's on the Celebration stamp set. The hello there, I believe, was on the Strawberry stamp set. And obviously I'm doing it off screen. Sorry about that. I might be looking for the die cut I'm going to use. Nope. I don't know what I was doing right there. Maybe something fell. So that says bountiful blessings, which I think that also, that particular sentiment, oh, look at all that hair hanging out. Sorry about that. Is a good sentiment for a baby. I cut that a little too big. I should have came in further. And so I'm going to end up punching this a few times because see how far away it is. So I just, instead of just cutting it and doing it right, I'm going to keep doing this. It's so funny to watch yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, could you just trim that paper? I think I'm going to keep it like that. Now, I'm not sure what I'm doing because I kept that. Oh, okay. I think I'm redoing that bountiful blessings with that extra piece because I just gave up on it. And I'm not going to do that hello there because it was a little too short. There is you shouldn't go below like 2 inches if you're using those banner punches because they don't like really small sentiments. It gets too hard to align your, if you've already stamped, it gets too hard to align the paper properly because it gets past the canal of the paper guide. There you go. There's my bountiful blessings. And I'm just using up some dimensionals. So this is the frame piece around on a dimensional, and I just cut them up so we can get them. So I won't throw away that dimensional piece until they're all used. And then I'm going to use the big sentiment, and I forget what that big sentiment said, but it was applicable. Let's see. The sentiment said, "You always have a way of making my day." So I thought that was cute for the picture with the baby, because babies always have a way of making everyone's day. So right now I'm going to use the scalloped rectangle dies. I was going to do a rectangle on top of rectangle, but I end up changing to this other shape. I don't know. Let me see if I can look up the die set that is. So there I use that Petal Blushing Bride cardstock, and that stamp set, or that stamped image, is going to fit on there. But so that's where I change it to that other shape. I really like that other shape. I'm going to try to find that scalloped rectangle and that odd shape. Those are on this in the same die set. So let me just, oh, there it is. Stitch So Sweetly. So you get the scalloped rectangles, and I don't know what you call those other shapes, but that's a really nice die cut set. I really like it. So here I'm fanning the tag because I'm trying to dry the Mementos ink so I don't smear it while trying to adhere it anywhere. And I believe, yes, I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals as well. So I'm just trimming up some more of those scrap dimensional pieces. And I'm going to turn it. So instead of having it go the long way of the rectangle, I'm going to have the rectangle go the long way up and down. And then this is just a pickup. I think it's called a pickup eraser. So especially if you're using Tombow glue, this is a good eraser to have. Stampin' Up doesn't carry that, but I know you can get it at Hobby Lobby. So see how I put that last sentiment horizontally, but I laid the triangle vertically. I thought that was I thought it worked out well. I got the oomph of the extra color, and it's still, I got to keep the die cut going the way it needed to. And then I'm just putting some kind of description and date of the event. So, and that's the page. I think